What is going on, everybody? It is time for another Living Freestyle Game Dev live stream with audio. My name's Kevin. We do this twice a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. We work this like a AMA Q&A. Hop in, ask questions. We're building games, mostly do with Unreal, Maya, stuff like that. I generally specialize more in the character front end, but that's not what we're doing. We're stumbling through the stuff we don't know together. So I work in game dev. I'm lucky enough to do that every day. I currently work in R&D at Riot Games. And this is a chance for me to do a lot of the stuff I don't get to do at work. Now, currently, we are working primarily with just ability systems and implementation of those character or AI systems, stuff like that. And in the absence of any questions, I'm basically working through all of those systems to get to my own game's working prototype. So that's kind of where we are and what we're working on. Let's go ahead and hop into. I didn't see any questions in any of the previous streams, and I don't see any questions in chat right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop straight into kind of the state of things. So let's take a look at where we are. I also want to double check that our stream is actually working. Give me 1 second here. Looks like it's working. Seems like we're good to go. So, all right, before we get into what we're stuck on right now, let's chat a little bit about where we are. So, while you were gone, I went ahead and implemented a melee sword, and there's a lot of cool things about this. There were some tutorials or some walkthroughs that I found online done by Roaring Night Dev that were really awesome and helpful. Thank you, Roaring Night Dev. But I was able to basically get a melee sword working. So what does that look like right now? If we go ahead and start, I can now pick up a sword. It gets equipped. Icon's messed up. I can actually attack with the sword. It's an amazing attack. I'll show you what's going on with that in a second. And I can also do damage with it. Alright, so there's a couple things that I would like to fix. Interestingly enough, if I drop it, I can't pick it up again. So we need to fix the dropping. I also want to fix the swing, and I want to also show you how I actually animated the swing, which will be fun. I'd like to add in the swoosh, and then I'm trying to figure out why our ability system doesn't handle damage properly. So that's a bunch of stuff we're going to be working on tonight. So with that, let's take a look at our levels. They're good. Yeah, we are good to go. And we also need our tunes. So, very cool. All right. First, let me just save everything. File and save. File and save. All right. First off, where did our animation come from? And we'll go ahead and do a quick change. Here's what's cool about this. If we take a look at our heroes animations and I open up AniWorld, let's save everything. You'll notice that I have a character in here with a sword in it, and this is going to be, and then I'm going to look for a level sequence. And the one I'm looking for is this body take. Now, this is the animation that I did for the sword. Okay, the cool thing about this is I did this all in Unreal. Well, it's cool, and it's maybe not cool, but anyways, I did this all in Unreal using hand keys. It's like 6 keyframes. It's nothing amazing or special, but the great thing about this is I'm not currently set up in Maya to be able to properly add or extend movement sets, and I just needed a quick sword swipe animation. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can steal and remap stuff and everything. I just thought it would be cool to figure out how the animation system works. in basically in Unreal 5 using Control Rig. And so if we take a look at this, I can actually go to the first frame here. If we take a look at this, so our character comes back, and I just feel like this is particularly short. So I'm gonna kind of extend this back quite a bit more. Oh, that's one of the things that I learned about this. You have to actually key everything as you go. Let's just make this a little more extreme, because I feel like we were really missing that first pose. Let's play this. Okay, whatever. Looks good. Let's call that good. Okay. So now let's come in here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to overwrite the animation that we had done and make it a little bit more extreme in that first frame. So this is why I'm keeping this around. So we're going to export, we're going to bake our animation sequence, but we need to specify what we're baking it to. So you can see here, right now, this doesn't come too far back. So this is the melee sword front left to right. Let's see if it'll let me change it while it's loaded. It may not let me do this. I may have to completely reboot Unreal to do this, but let's try. So all we do is come in here, let's bake this out, bake the animation sequence. We're gonna go into our animations, sword, locomotion, sword, and we're gonna do same name. It's gonna prompt me, I'm gonna say yes. It said, could not, because external references. Because it's referenced by external content. So let's just close down, save everything. We'll relaunch. It shouldn't take too long because it's not a recompile. Alright. So now we're relaunching. Clean up some desktop stuff. All right. And then while that's relaunching, so basically what I found was, there's actually quite a few tools in Unreal that allow you to kind of do some animation stuff. And even though it's not nearly as familiar as my general, even though it's not nearly as familiar as my general Maya workflow, because I don't actually have the character set up in Maya yet to be able to export animation and do all those things, dude, this is fine. Like, this is great. I can do a quick little swipe. You know, if I ever need to do a punch, I can. And then if I do one day need to edit this stuff, I could always just export the FBX back into Maya and then bake those down to a rig that I actually want and be able to kind of use more of the control rig flow that I'm working. But I'm literally setting 6 keys as part of a prototype proof of concept. So, you know, this is more than enough for what I need to do right now. I think my goal with this is we'll get the sword swipes working, and then I want to start to figure out how to chain stuff together, right? Like double clicks, triple clicks. I've been wrestling with this a little bit, right, in the sense that that's not really the core gameplay item, right? Being able to have all these chained abilities and leveling all those stuff up. So I've been really kind of trying in my mind to think about what does leveling up in my game actually mean for the player. So I'm still wrestling with that a little bit, but this will be cool. Once we finish baking this animation out, that'll kind of like wrap up the quick little demo of using the Unreal control rig to kind of actually do animations within the engine, which is cool. And then I'll show you some of the stuff of just how that implementation's working and doing damage, and then we'll move back onto the thing that I'm troubleshooting right now, which has to do with ability levels. Okay, so let's go back to our animations, Animworld, all level sequence. This is the one we want. And this is cool. So we're going to bake this. Same deal. We're going into the animations folder. Locomotion. Sword. Okay. And it prompting us, yes. How's it in use? Bummer. Okay, well let's do this. Fine. Okay, fine. Let's just do it. We'll bake the animation sequence, but we'll do it to a different name. Alright, so this is melee sword swipe. We'll just call it horizontal swipe. Horizontal swipe, right to left. Okay. And then we'll export that. And then we'll go back to our combat gym. And this will also allow us to kind of see what's going on. See the difference in the montage. So here's our sword. We can get rid of this. Here's our sword attack. So if we look at this from above, at frame 0 or frame 3-ish, the hand's kind of coming back. Let's see if we can update this to be this. There we go, it goes a little bit further back. Not a lot further back, we probably could have pushed that quite a bit, but that's okay. Save that, and then when we play now, let's see if the sword attack feels any better. It doesn't. It doesn't feel better at all. And I think this is just an animation. But you know what? This is probably a blending thing. It may be blending into our animation. Let's see if we can figure that out real quick. Continue. Sword attack. Rate scale. Poses. Blend in. Go 0. Play. Yeah, look at that. That might be a bit much. But that's what it was. Those are blend in. Let's go to point line. See what that feels like. It's still pretty big. Let's go back to our original animation with these times. See if that makes... See if that feels better now. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think our original animation was good. Too bad we fixed it. I don't really like what the head's doing, but whatever. It's fine. We can come up here and swipe this dude. Boom. Boom. Okay. So that's kind of how we're doing animations. Generally speaking, how we set this sword up, let's just double check our chats here. How we set this sword up is pretty straightforward. If we take a look at our weapons, long pistol, sword, this is the wrong section. This should be, we need to look at our plugins. Computer core, weapons, sword. Okay. Basically, we have all of the standard stuff. We don't actually need these reticles, so we can actually delete this. It's not being used. And the ammo counter doesn't count. Weapon ID sword, weapon pickup sword, the item definition. I don't even think this is being used. It's not. We can kill this. Pistol fire. Ooh. Who's referencing it? That's interesting. Pistol fire. It's all pistol fire. I don't think we need this. I'm gonna delete it. Let's force delete. I may regret that. That may have been a mistake, but let's find out. No, we can still swing our sword. We still do damage with it. Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's kind of the way the sword is set up. One thing that I noticed was we cannot drop our sword. If we go, well, we can drop it. The problem is it doesn't create a drop item when we drop it. So let's take a look at that. So I believe, save this, close this. I believe that's got to do with this drop. Yeah, drop weapon. I was thinking. All right, so this is why. This is gonna come in here. It's not gonna drop it if we don't have any ammo. Has authority, get the active slot, remove the item slot, gets the definition, gets the ammo map if this is greater than 0. True, we're gonna do ammo mapping. Okay. Where's this go? Oh, no matter what, it's gonna remove that and in that, and then on success, we're gonna cast that to that. We drop. We're gonna set the act. We're gonna set the mesh. Okay, interesting. I think that should be okay. But the trick is for our sword. Because our sword has no, that's not what I want. The weapon item definition, I believe. Nope, it's not that either. Hold on, let me look at a pistol. This will refresh my memory. ID? Yeah, it's in the ID. Equipment. Initial item stats. That's what it is. So in the ID, underneath the initial item stat, it is a weapon. I think we need a stat to specify that this is a melee weapon. Do we have anything in here? What do we have in here? Melee. Event, aim, weapon. Nope. Okay, so let's add a new one. Fire shooter game weapon. Nope. Shooter game. It's not an Accolade weapon. Here's our magazine. Magazine ammo. Oh, magless weapon. Let's add this one. It's a magless weapon. I think that's what we should make for it. Okay. We'll compile and save. And in drop weapon. Here we go. If it's magless, then we're going to do our ammo map. Hold on, can we drop this now? Just by adding the magless? Because we could actually drop grenades. Nope. And that's because I mean, we could cheat this. We could just add one round in the mag. It's kind of a bummer we have to do that. So if it's magless, we're gonna get the ammo map. And if this is true, I think all we need to do is this. Let's make some room in here, man. This is so crap. Okay. What is the difference between magazine ammo and spare ammo? Oh, we're specifying a value. I see, we specify two different values here. Okay, that's fine. And this is going to get that. We're going to be making our stack count. That's fine. I think all we need to do is go like this. Go ore. Put an ore in here. An ore boolean in here. And we'll grab if we have a tag. And we'll fill this in. So let's see if we can drop a sword now. Yep, there's a sword. Can we pick it back up? Yes, we can. Container is chain. What? Okay. We can still shoot. We can pick things up, we can drop them. All right, so that's another thing we fixed. That's cool. Let's do save all. Oh, you know what we didn't test? We didn't test to see if we can still drop pistols. Looks like we can. It looks like we can pick it up too. Okay. And we can pick up our grenade still. Ooh, it crashed. I didn't like that. Okay. Oh, this is our sticky grenade. We'll have to figure what that is. Okay. Swap to our sword. Okay, cool. Looks like all of that is working. Undo. Alright, so now that we got that working, now we're gonna move on to the next phase. So drop weapon is good. ID sword. Let's compile and save this. And well, actually, there's one more thing we should check. If we pick up sticky grenades, can we drop sticky grenades? We can. If we pick up sticky grenade, we get 6. All right, great. Good. All right. So all that's working. Now, the thing that I'm working on is we're kind of taking a step back and we're going back to generic ability system stuff. So let me explain in a second. The interesting thing is I can find nowhere that the ability system is taking into account the level of the character or the weapon when it calculates damage. And I think it's kind of weird. So if we take a look at the sword, for example, and we look at the gameplay ability for the sword, this gameplay ability that applies this gameplay effect is applying a level 10 ability with a gameplay event damage melee. Now, if I change the melee damage down here to be 200 or 300, 400, that works. It's a scalable float, and it's scalable by, whatever. Now, what's interesting is there's no curve table or anything specified here right now. And when I look at the code, levels not being applied. It seems to apply to cooldown, right? But it doesn't seem to apply to damage, which is weird. And so I was where I was just before we started the stream was I wanted to take a look at the grenade. And the damage for the grenade is a scalable float. It's 105 times the curve damage. But what's weird to me is the curve damage for the grenade is just 0 to 1 on a multiply, which is weird to me. So the curve damage, it still uses Lyra damage execution, and the backing data snapshotted, that's fine. It's added. That's the curve damage. Here's our gameplay effect. This inherits from the damage basic instant. Which gameplay effect parent damage basic. Gameplay effect parent damage basic, which inherits from a gameplay effect. There's nothing crazy about this. And so I think let's take a look at our sticky grenades, because that might be an easy one to debug. So our gameplay sticky grenade, here's our gameplay ability for the sticky grenades. This is cost. Here's our that's our sticky grenade cooldown. It's gonna be in the actual grenade itself. So inside the sticky grenade, what's going to happen is when it goes off, it's gonna get the ability, it's gonna clamp it, impulse. Here's where we apply our gameplay effect. This is our damage. based on, interesting enough, our frost grenade. When we look at this, instant basic grenade. Okay, and it does use the frost grenade curve damage. The frost grenade curve damage is literally, again, 0 to 1. I don't know what this curve is multiplied by, but let's just do a test. Alright, if I take a sticky grenade and I throw it so it lands, let's see here, 1, 1 square, 2 squares away. How much damage did that do? Ah, missed it. Okay, hold on. So that's like 1, 2. Okay, so that did no damage. That's too far. Still too far. God, I gotta restart. I need to be able to look down. Okay, so this is gonna be 1, 2. 1, 2. That was 5 damage. Okay. That's about 1. That was 91 damage. That's 3. That was 49 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably not even gonna touch her. It didn't. Okay, that did no damage. It just knocked her back. So this curve is definitely affecting this, I believe. Here's what I'm wondering. If I change this to a 2, does it do double damage? Let's see. $73. 127. Hold on, we need to make this more extreme. Lightning stripes. We are working on, well, big picture or just currently right now. Although that's the exact same thing. That's sort of redundant. Big picture. We're working on a prototype. We're working on our prototype game. Okay, so that's the big picture. But specifically, so far we've gone over right now is we've implemented melee attacks now using a sword. But the problem is, what's happening is we're not seeing the damage stuff being applied quite properly. And so basically what's happening is damage doesn't seem to take into account the ability level. So what I'm doing is I'm using the grenade as an example to try to figure out how to get the ability level to apply for the sword as well, because I'd like it to either take into account the level of the sword or the level of the actor. And then overall, what we're doing is we just kind of hang out and answer questions when people have them. But in the absence of the questions, I'm just kind of working on my playable prototype. Hopefully that covers the answers. Let's see here. So let's just take this and make it extreme. Let's go 10. Now, if we throw this grenade close to this dude and we get a lot more than 127, I think we'll know what our answer is. 150. second. That seems suspect. Let's go 50. Just having any effect whatsoever. Nope, didn't like that start. Alright, and we're using sticky grenades because it's easier for us to measure. Okay, so right there. What kind of damage is this gonna do? 150. It is a third person. It's kind of third person. Horde mode. Shooter meets Hunger Games type thing. So I don't know if that was successful actually. If we come back here and we come back to our deal, we put this back to 1. And then we go do the same exact test. Maybe the max we can do is 150. Maybe that's the problem. Okay, so same deal. Let's drop this sticky grenade sort of right next to the character. How much damage does this do? 46. Oh, goodness. Lightning stripes. Do you prefer scripting as opposed to traditional coding? I actually really like scripting. Like the visual scripting you're talking about, I'm assuming. I think it's super fast for iteration. You don't have to compile. I think it's great for prototyping. There's a lot of really cool stuff about scripting. However, my project is C++ based because there's a lot of stuff you can't do without it. So this GE damage frost grenade, the damage is being done based on this curve damage. So this is being taken into account. So with that, what that means is if we take a look at our code, we don't need this. This is our damage execution. I think what I want to do is drop in a breakpoint. Speaking of code, I'm going to drop in a breakpoint here and I want to see how that's being applied. So when we hit this dude, all right, so let's see here. So we're gonna come in here, enter all of our source tags, and then our base damage is the one that we're going to be calculating here. And this is the one that I'm curious about. So our base damage starts at 0, and then our evaluate parameters are what right now? These tags don't really seem to have any effect. Grenades in there. Okay. Base damage is 0. Damage statistic. Can we step into this? Statistics. Base damage death. Okay, hold on a second. Base damage death. Attribute to capture is base damage. Base damage. Attribute owner is a combat set. This is base damage. Okay. Path. Alright, well, let's just step out. And then now that we've done that, our base damage is 96.25. Gokuo Craft is back. What is going on? So this base damage def is definitely using that curve somehow, which is weird to me. So let's just run. Okay, so we're back. Oh, you know what? I actually also implemented. I am good, Goku. I also implemented sticky grenades. I think since the last time you all were here. And we'll actually stick and run around with characters. Okay, so we don't. I hate it when it does this. But we don't need this breakpoint anymore. So let's do this. Let's come back to our game. Let's take a look at our melee damage. Our melee damage is just basically scalable float, but there is no curve table. Let's take a look and see how any other GE damages have been implemented. This is going to be a gameplay effect. Damage. Periodic. Damage basic set by collar. That's interesting. Let's see. This is interesting. See what this is. This is base damage snapshotted set by collar. Oh, maybe that's what we want. Goku wants to make characters, but you don't know how. Okay, that's a pretty broad question, Goku. What do you, when you say you want to make characters, you want to make a character Maya? You want to model a character from scratch? You want to build a character in Unreal? Help me focus the question a little. Okay, so let's try this. Our gameplay effect, rather than scalable float, set by collar. Look at this. So if we do set by collar and then we come into our sword level, magnitude, no, content, event magnitude. If I do, let's see if that changes. Does this change? Okay, cool. It's hitting, but it's not doing damage. For animation. Okay, but hold on. Vroid is a nice character creation tool if you like anime. There you go. Alright, but Goku, back to the question though. What do you mean for animation? You're trying to create a character that you can animate in Blender or Maya, or you're trying to create a character that you can animate in Unreal? And when I say that, you want to model the character from scratch because you have your own design that you're trying to implement, or you just want to be able to do custom animations on a character that looks cool? Okay, so 10 did not do anything, so let's try 100. The magnitude is not being set by the collar. Context handle set. Members? Nope. Let's make one. Let's make a gameplay event data. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna feed it all in here. We're just gonna do all of the same. Instigator tags, everything's the same, except we're going to set our magnitude in here to be 100. And then this context handle break is what's going to be fed in now instead. Let's see if that works. our sword. Data none. Default GE damage C when magnitude not set. Interesting. Our magnitude is not set, so looks like we're barking up the wrong tree. Not for gaming. Okay, so we're talking like either you're trying to work on a demo reel to break into games as a character animator, or you're working on your own short film or something like that. Interesting. Clearly we're setting the magnitude. Gameplay effect. Set active gameplay effect level. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Okay, I don't think we need this. Here's what we can do. We can kill this. We can kill this. The context handle we can feed back in. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to feed this in, and we're going to set the new value to 100. Yeah, like a short film. Okay. So there are a lot of characters that are available online that are free to download. Rather than building your own, it depends on what your focus is. If you're just trying to learn about character setup and what goes into it, then sure, you could build your own. But there's stuff from Anim School, there's stuff from Animation Mentor, there's stuff from just basically lots of different rigs that you can download. There's the Morpheus rig. There's so many different rigs that you can download and use in Maya that if you just want to focus on animation, I would recommend grabbing one of those. Interesting, has not been set by caller. Alright, I feel like we're barking up maybe the wrong tree. Scalable float. Custom calculation class. Custom magnitude. It's so frustrating that, yeah, I mean, you can get the Learning Edition for Maya. Blender has come a really long way. I'm actually seriously consider switching to Blender at this point, just because for commercial use, Maya is very expensive, and Blender's come a long way. And also Autodesk licensing has really kind of frustrated me. So, look, learning how to animate, you can do in Unreal, you can do in Maya, you can do in Blender, you can do in 3D Studio, all of those things. It doesn't. It's kind of like the old school saying, right? Like, the medium isn't so much important, right? If you know anatomy and you know how to paint, you'll be able to do it with digital painting or regular painting or whatever. Once you learn the tools. So I think the important thing, if you want to learn to animate and you want to learn to do it really well, I would highly recommend one of the online schools. you will learn so much faster than trying to do it on your own. All right, so this is really frustrating. Basically, the scalable float magnitude does not take anything into account. And just for kicks, if we just fill in frost grenade damage, what happens with this? If we come up and we whack this dude with the sword. Also, how come we don't see damage numbers here? Of course, I have lots of links. Let me find some of my favorites. One second. Animation. I'm curious what they say. So obviously, mentor.com, animschool.com. I think it's animschool. Hold on, let me double check that one. I have a lot of friends that teach at these places. Hold on. animschool.com. This one? Yep, that's one. Trying to think of what the other ones are. I'm just looking through to see which other ones. Animation schools. 10 best online animation schools. I'm almost scared to see what this is. Yeah, these are all just like, the problem is when you look at these are all paid for ads. So the key thing about some of these online schools like Animation Mentor and Anim School is your mentors, the people who are your teachers, they're actually industry professionals who are actually working in 3D. iAnimate.net is the other one. Hold on, let me type that in the chat. Where is it? What happened to the chat? Here we go. iAnimate.net. I would start with those three, kind of taking a look at what they have to offer. You can find free online animation courses too, if you look around, but strength. Okay, so this is what I think we need. All right, the problem is in here, I don't believe we're capturing and nowhere in here are we capturing our levels. Okay, when we look at our damage calculation, you'll see down here that the damage done is equal to base damage times the distance attenuation, okay, times the damage interaction allowed multiplier, and that's all affecting current health. I feel like we need another attribute in here, and I think that needs to be our something like damage based on level or something. Distance attenuation is an ability source. Get distance attenuation. It's interesting. I want to put a break here. Let's do this. The reason I'm putting a break here is because I'm lazy and I want to find where that is and then potentially see if we can get the level there too. Okay, so type oh. Ability source object is null. Type context. Ability source is null. Okay, so that could be part of the problem. Okay, so hold on a second. When we do melee sword, target, gameplay effect, context. Why is our gameplay source null? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. So when we do it with a grenade, is it null? Let's do that. Let's check that. Let's put this back in here. There must be something we've set up differently in our sword versus grenades. So let's just do this. Stick that there. Kablooey. Oh. It's also not valid. Alright, so grenades and okay, so grenades and swords do not have an ability source, but weapons do. How is that getting set? This is using an F gameplay effect context. Source object. Interesting. Is a weapon C. Somehow this source object is getting set from the type context in weapons fire. So let's do this. Let's take a look at the difference between fire. Okay. Pistol. GA weapon fire pistol. Alright. This inherits from weapon fire. If we come into weapon fire, we're applying the gameplay and the target data comes off of event on ranged weapon target data ready. These are our ability triggers. Lyra, ability ranged weapon. Okay. Oh, this is the .h file. Ability. This is Lyra gameplay ability. Lyra game weapons. Game weapons. Ranged weapon. Gets the weapon instance. And activate. Find the first pawn hit result. Add additional trace ignore actors. Determine the trace channel. Weapon trace. Target source. Targeting transform. Do single bullet trace. Form local targeting. Here we go. Activates the ability. And here's our on target data ready. So here we're getting our weapon data. Huh. That's our targeting. That's the gameplay key with current. Apply gameplay effect to target with the target data. It's gotta be this. When we come in here. Target data. It doesn't have any debug information that I can get. Not useful at all. So unfortunate. There's gotta be something I'm missing. Event on range target data. Play montage and wait. Gets the actors from the data. Make gameplay queue on the hit result. And the gameplay effect is the damage effect, and the target data comes from the target data. So this thing target data. Here we go. Target data. Hit result. That's the handle. Single target hit, client confirm target. Man, I feel like we're just stuck for no reason. It's kind of frustrating. Target data. Interesting. Can we contact? Can I make a contact? Make contact. Make gameplay effect context panel. Set the members. Right. Can't break that. We are so stuck. We're also out of time. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to wrap this up tonight because I have a crack of dawn day tomorrow. But kind of as you saw, we're making progress. I kind of showed you how we did some of our fun anim stuff inside the inside Engine, just animating characters using Control Rig inside Unreal, which was kind of a fun thing to do. We got our melee set up. Really all we're looking at now has nothing to do with melees or swords or extending out just stuff in general. It's more just a general ability system thing. How is it that we can make it so that our weapons will scale based on either the weapons level or the character level? Something, anything. It's not in the damage calculation. I'm not seeing it. And I was just kind of curious if we could use the damage distance-based attenuation as kind of an example so that we could get the actual level of either the weapon or the character to figure out how to do that and apply that to our damage calculation. So today's Sunday. Our next stream is going to be Wednesday morning. As always, if if you have questions, you can either throw them in the comment or hop in the next stream. Goku, thanks for hopping in again. It was good to see you. And also, Lightning Stripes, thanks for hopping in. It was awesome to see you. Anybody who's hanging out in the wings, again, a lot of people sometimes will hop in and not necessarily say anything. Thanks for hopping in. I apologize, we kind of hit a little bit of a slowdown there at the end, but this is why we do this. We're stumbling through it. You can see how fun, and tough sometimes making games can be. So I hope everybody has an awesome start to their week, and I will catch you all on the next stream. Again, that's Wednesday morning. Have a good one, y'all.